Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio. Brought to you by OnPay, Atlanta's new standard in payroll. Now, here's your host.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a good one. But before we get started, it's important to recognize our sponsor, OnPay. Without them, we couldn't be sharing these important stories. Today on Atlanta Business Radio, we have Aliya Bagewadi with Allume Energy. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me, Lee.
I am so excited to learn what you're up to. Tell us about Allume Energy. How are you serving folks?
So Allume Energy, we are a solar technology company, and we developed a breakthrough technology that enables renters in multifamily buildings, so tenants, residents, renters, commercial buildings, to actually consume rooftop solar from a single rooftop solar system. So in this way, we're unlocking rooftop solar for people living and working in multifamily buildings.
Now, without this technology, how are they utilizing solar in other ways? Like, is it just solar for the entire building and you're not able to kind of share the savings amongst all the individuals? Like, how does it work currently without Allume?
Yeah, so typically without our technology, which is called the Soul Share, so without the Soul Share, you would otherwise need to have multiple solar systems per meter or per unit. And so if you have a building with 60 units, you'd need 60 solar systems and in order for a tenant or a resident to actually consume that solar. But if you see solar on an apartment, that solar is typically going directly just to the common meter, which is the building meter. So that is lowering the energy for the building owner, but that is really just one account or one unit that is sort of being benefited by that solar. So our ambition is to share that solar with multiple units in the building to enable the entire people entirely in the building to benefit from the solar.
So what was the genesis of the idea? How did this get started?
So Allume actually started in Melbourne, Australia, back in 2015. And the genesis is that, Australia has some of the highest rooftop solar penetrations in the world. So 30% of all of their single family homes have rooftop solar on them, which is wild when you compare it to the 4 to 8% that we have here in the United States. So about 5-6 years ago, you really had this lingering question of, we know that single family homeowners are getting the benefits and the savings of rooftop solar, but people living in apartments, they're not able to gain those thousands of dollars of savings and lower their carbon footprint too. So how do we enable them to do that? So that is really the genesis, the sort of energy equity question of how do we enable, people living in all types of buildings to be able to share and consume rooftop solar and also save their energy bills or lower their energy bills and also lower their carbon footprint.
So what's your backstory? How did you get involved with Allume?
So, I met the CEO of Allume, a guy named Cameron Knox, and was really, I really appreciated really the energy equity focus of the company. So we're working primarily with affordable housing, low-income communities to lower energy burdens across the country. So in the United States right now, about 1 out of 5 families faces energy burdens, which means that they're spending a high proportion of their income on energy bills. So, a typical household, or let's say a wealthier household may spend about 3% of their income on their utility bills, on their energy bills. But a low-income household may be spending up to 20% of their income on energy bills. And so that can create a situation where, families need to decide between paying to keep the lights on or paying for heat or paying for cooling in their unit versus paying for education fees or groceries or medicine. So that kind of, the dire situation that really the country is in and the focus that this company has and is really what drew me to working with the company.
Now, how I know you're trying to penetrate the Georgia market. Can you talk a little bit about how Georgia was chosen and why you think there's so much opportunity here?
Yeah, well, a bit of context. We started in the Southeast. Our work in the United States has started in the Southeast of the U.S. So we've had projects so far in Florida and Mississippi, and Georgia is really, what we see as the enormous opportunity. One, because there's a lot of multifamily buildings in Florida, and two, perhaps more importantly, Georgia's doing and many of its cities like Atlanta and Savannah are doing a lot of great work around this energy equity piece of creating benefits to low-income communities. So because the cities have been prioritizing getting low-income communities access to clean energy, it's a really great opportunity for us to start working in Georgia. So we're really excited about Georgia.
Now, can you talk a little bit? I mean, maybe not name the names, but are there companies that are trying this or testing it at least? Or like where are you at in kind of growing the market here? Yeah,
well, what's great is, we've gotten a lot of support from the sustainability offices of various cities and also support from at the federal level with Senate offices. So that's been really wonderful and has sort of laid the groundwork for a lot of the conversations with, end users and buyers who are the property owners, and also solar installers. So for them, they get to kind of, solar installers typically have had to turn away projects in the multifamily market, and they don't want to turn away those projects. So now for them, they're quite excited that they can go after apartments and, pursue these solar installations on them. So we've been having a lot of great conversations with solar installers and property owners to help them understand why it's beneficial to them to share this solar with their residents.
Now, when you're talking to the property owner, what's kind of the pitch? Like, how are you kind of getting them interested in the benefits of this? Because the savings goes to the person in the apartment, right? So it may not trickle back to them, but that I would imagine that becomes now a selling point when they're trying to rent the unit or sell the unit.
Yeah, so typically that it's what we call like a split incentive has always existed, where why would a property owner, make this investment if the benefits are going to flow to the tenants? That's always been a major issue. And it's part of the reason why solar on multifamily hasn't really proliferated. But with the Sol Share, with our technology, we're able to share the solar energy between units and between meters. And so what that means is that the building owner can also lower their energy bills and share that energy with their tenants. So really, it's a win-win situation for the building owner. So what does the building owner get? Well, they get to put solar has been shown to increase the property values of buildings. So it can increase a property value by 4 to 13%, which is, having that value stabilization is really important in this sort of economic environment right now. So they get that. Secondly, it's really never been a better time to go solar because of a lot of federal tax credits that are available. So going solar now enables a building owner to pursue federal tax credits, up to 30 to 60% on the cost of the system. That and there's also municipal incentives that are further helping lower this cost of pursuing solar. So in terms of the cost of actually pursuing solar, there's a lot of benefits right now to help cover those costs. And in terms of the actual building itself, well, the building owner gets to increase their net operating income, which means the profitability of the building gets to go up. So they can lower their energy bills. And by sharing that energy with their residents, they get to have a recurring revenue source for them as well. And so, yeah, those are just some of the few benefits that a building owner can get, in addition to sort of the marketing, the marketing ability of being able to tell increasingly environmentally conscious tenants and residents that, hey, I am a more sustainable building. I'm lowering my carbon footprint with this solar, and you get to lower your carbon footprint too and have lower energy bills in the process. So, it increases tenant satisfaction. It increases tenant occupancy. It also creates a new positive, news story and a marketing for the building.
Now, when you're talking to the property owners, are you talking directly, or do you work through the installers who are talking directly, or is it a combination? Because I would imagine you have to educate these folks a lot about, switching to solar, and that might take some convincing. And so how does that conversation go?
You're right. Yeah, there is a significant sort of education bit around this because we are new and we are a new product. And so we definitely want to educate various community members and stakeholders that this now exists and it can benefit multiple parties. So, but we, at the moment, our sort of, our go-to market, let's say, is to talk to both installers to let them know that, okay, you can pursue multifamily installations now, but also letting the property owner know that you can do this and it'll benefit you and benefit your residents, and, make your building more financially stable and profitable at the end of the day.
So is your role as U.S. Director of Strategic Partnerships, is that the conversations you're having every day?
Those are part of the conversations I have every day. I think what's really cool about our product is we are solving for the split incentive problem. So any asset owner or a building owner can benefit, the tenant can benefit, governments can benefit, utilities can benefit. So that's an opportunity for us to reach out to all of those different stakeholders. And that's a lot of my job is to let people know that we exist and help them understand why it's beneficial to them and how it can play into their equity and clean energy goals.
So if somebody wants to learn more, have a more substantive conversation with you or somebody on the team, what's the website? What's the best way to connect?
Well, we'd love to hear from anyone who's interested in learning more. An email you can reach out to is info at Allume Energy, ALLUMEENERGY.com, or check out our website, allumeenergy.com.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your story today. You're doing such important work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
All right, this is Lee Cantor. We'll see you all next time on Atlanta Business Radio.